Unfucking believable. Wow. Unfucking believable. Alright, so let me show you guys a few of the more recent pickups I was able to obtain over the last couple of weeks. So last week, I actually went to a thrift store, and believe it or not, they had a copy of Samus Returns Metroid 2 for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, and it was in mint condition, and they only wanted $20 Canadian for it. I almost picked it up. I actually already have a copy, excuse me, but it's got like the pooched kind of, you know how it gets on the original Game Boys, the games, the color gets kind of pooched on the plastic. I replaced the back of this cart, but yeah, it's pretty yellow. So I thought about maybe getting another one, because this one, like I said, was in mint shape, but I don't really want to go down that road, the John Hancock road, where you start replacing games you already have with other games that are in better condition. There's always exceptions to the rule, but for that one there, I'm happy with it. It is what it is. I'll let someone else come across that other copy and pick it up. But for $3, I was able to pick up Millennium Winter Sports for the Game Boy Color. Now, I know you're thinking this is probably a shitty sports title, but you'd be surprised. This is an excellent time waster. There's about 8 or 9 mini games on it, and you can constantly go through them and try to get a better high score. So I had a lot of fun playing this, to be honest with you. It is kind of like, I guess you could say in a roundabout way, a lot of those games that are coming out that I guess will be out on the Amico, where they're very simplistic pick up and play games. I guess this would be that, in the vein of that. It's very simplistic, 1 button, 2 button mini games. But yeah, I was surprised. It was actually, like I said, a lot of fun. And if you do come across this in the wild, as long as it's dirt cheap, like what I paid for, I think I paid $3. It was well worth it. Fantastic. So the next thing I want to talk about here is the PlayStation 3. So a lot of you guys know I've had this one here, the fat model, for a little over a year now, and it finally kicked the can on me. So what I was able to do, actually, before I show you what I picked up, I was checking out on eBay. You could get what's called a PS3 Slim Splash Blue. Now, I believe it only came out in the Japan territory, if you will. And it's very nice color, you can see here. And they go for about $200. They range from about $179 to $250 for a real nice one. You can order one on eBay. And then obviously there's shipping and handling after that. It's my understanding the PS3 is not region locked. I was very close to picking one up. They are very unique. They come with a matching Splash Blue DualShock 3 controller as well. I didn't end up pulling the trigger on one for a couple of different reasons. For one, you obviously can't test out what you're looking at on eBay. You don't know if somebody's opened up the internals and messed around with it. The second thing is, again, cost, shipping, handling. It'd probably be closer to $250, $275 to pick one of those up. And then obviously you got to wait for it to come in the mail. It takes forever. Shipping is slow nowadays, especially with what's going on in the world. So, sort of weighing out my options and not 100% sure if picking up a Japanese PS3 is going to play all my NTSC games. I just wasn't really feeling comfortable about the situation. Now, I did want to get a PS3 Slim. I don't like the super slim models. I do not like the industrial design. The look of those consoles looks very cheap. And then obviously I didn't want to get another fat model. However, I did run the serial number on this model this morning just to double check, and it is absolutely, I did confirm, it is the original PS3 that has the PS2 hardware, not software, capabilities in this console. So it is worth keeping, and I am going to get it fixed. I'm currently talking to a few people out there that are able to basically get into the guts of this thing and fix it. Now, one of the reasons why I want to fix it is because my copy of Uncharted 2 is stuck in there. And obviously, it's quite available online as to how you can get your game out. If you get the yellow light of death, you can obviously hold down the eject button, flick the power button on the back of the console, turn it off, and then turn it back on while holding the eject button, and the disc pops out. Well, it's not popping out for me for whatever reason. So when I get the console fixed, then I'll get the game out, obviously. So I want to keep the console. I wouldn't if it was just the fat model that had the PS2 software capabilities to play those old PS2 games. The fact that it is one of the nicer fat models and they're becoming increasingly hard to find, I think it'll be worth it to get it repaired and hold on to it. So let me show you guys what I picked up at the retro gaming store today. Now when I walked in, they actually for once had some decent Genesis carts, loose carts, and I finally picked up the original Road Rash. I don't have this in the collection. I have Road Rash 2, so I've always wanted to have the original Road Rash, and now I finally have it. Some would even say this is better than Road Rash 2. The jury's out on Road Rash 3. Apparently, that is a really good game. It just has the worst graphics out of all three. So happy to have Road Rash in the collection. Now on to the meat and potatoes of today's video. I was able to pick up a new PS3 Slim model, and I'll show you here. Nothing special, just a generic black model, but you can see it's in mint condition. So there's a bit of a story behind this. So when I went into the store, they had 4 PS3 Slim models. They had one that was like 60 gigabytes, if I'm not mistaken. And then they had the next one up, which was like 120 gigabytes. And then they had this one, which was, I think, 250 gigabytes. And then they had a third model, which was $10 more than this one, and it was over 300 gigabytes. The issue with that, if you're a collector, you know what I'm talking about. You want your shit to be immaculate. You want it to be in perfect condition. I asked the lady that was working at the store, can you please pull out all 4 consoles? And she looked at me like, why do you want me to do that? I'm like, well, I want to just inspect all 4 of them. I want to see which one's in the best shape. And she's like, well, what does it matter? And then I had to explain to her the collector's mentality. And so what ended up happening is, for $10 more, like I said, I could have picked up the model that had over 300 gigabytes. But what happened was, it's hard to see on video here, but you guys know how there's like transparent plastic on the front here. The other 3 models were kind of like chipped up. There were scratches around the corners here because the corners are smooth. There were some wear and tear, some scratches on the front. And the only one that was damn near perfect was this one here, the 250 gigabyte model. And I ended up picking it up for $125 Canadian before tax. Not bad. I could have got it cheaper on the classifieds, but I didn't have time to really fuck around with that. And not only that, at least the store, I've been there quite a few times, and they test out their stuff. So there was no concerns as to whether or not the console would work. Now, when I got up to the cash, I'm like, you're going to give me all the hookups, right, and the controller? And she's like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. And then she gives me the cables, and then she pulls out a PS3 controller, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, is this a 6-axis? Is it the DualShock 3? Please be the DualShock 3. And it was the DualShock 3, but it was all beat up to shit. The thumbsticks were like basically worn right down. The back of the controller, where you've got the serial numbers and everything, was completely worn. This controller was just fucking beat up all to shit. So I said, do you mind just swapping that out with another PS3 controller? I know you've got 4 there because you're giving one controller with each console. So would it be much for you to swap it? And then she had to like... So I think this girl, I think the one working at the front, maybe not a gamer. She was just working there as a cashier. So she had to consult with the other girl at the back of the store. She's like, is it okay if I do this? And the other girl's like, oh yeah, no problem. So thank fucking God I asked about it. She swapped it out for another DualShock 3. And this one's absolutely mint. It's dead mint. There's no wear and tear whatsoever on this. I haven't tried it out yet to know if it works for sure, but it's in really good shape, obviously. So I think it's a good deal, because if you buy one of these on their own, if you can find one out in the wild, at least up here in Canada, these can generally be quite expensive, sometimes ranging up to $30 to $40 just to get this controller. So if you factor in the cost of the controller, plus paying, like I said, $125 for a mint slim PS3, I think I did okay. I might get myself one of those faceplates or one of those decals, like a nice one. Maybe I'll get the Splash Blue. I know there's a Splash Blue decal I can get, and I'll put it right on here. I'm not too concerned about what I do with this console. It's nothing rare. But it is obviously a lot more reliable than the Fatty over here, which again lasted from when this one came out, 2007, all the way up to 2021. So for anyone to laugh at me and say, "Oh, his PS3 broke," okay, I had it for a year, but before I had it, someone else had it for 16 years. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Some pretty big news, some pretty big pickups. I'm back on the PS3 bandwagon. I tried to look for Ridge Racer 7 for the PS3, but my store didn't have it. Now, Ridge Racer 6 for the Xbox 360 has been released as backwards compatible on the Xbox One, and I think it takes advantage of the 60 frames per second. But that's the inferior version to Ridge Racer 7 on the PS3. That's the one I want. So I'm still on the lookout for that. The last thing I guess I'll mention here, maybe I'll talk a little bit more about it on another video. I was able to complete a complete run-through of the original Max Payne on the Xbox One X, and it was fantastic. Crisp resolution, frame rate running really smooth, and I think I might go right into Max Payne 2. Now, Max Payne 2 originally ran at 60 frames per second on the original Xbox, so it's already at 60 frames per second. So I'm looking forward to jumping back into Max Payne 2. It's been years since I played it. But yeah, I had hardly any issues with Max Payne. I did notice the cutscenes between chapters, the voiceovers were kind of like the volume was pretty low on it. So I think there might be some issues with the backwards compatibility on the One X. And the game actually did crash on me a couple of times, to be honest with you. So be on the lookout for that. If you're playing any of those backwards compatible games, you may run into a few hiccups here or there. So one more thing I want to show you. I went to another thrift store and I picked this up, and I thought it was kind of cool. Maybe you guys can let me know if you think this is cool or not. So I picked this up. I think it's for holding spoons, if I'm not mistaken, or utensils. But what I'm thinking I might do is I might paint this gloss black, and then what I might do is I might take like a golf tee and put it up here like this if I can. And then I might put, we've got a nice Top Flight Hot XL golf ball here. I'll put that up there like this, if I can get it on there. And then I'll put my golf games that I'm collecting for the Genesis in here. I could fit about 10 of them. So I could have this up on the wall. There's a couple of clips on the back. And yeah, I can have like a showcase for my golf games. So I'm pretty excited about that. A little passion project, if you will. So stay tuned for that in the games room. So that's it. Like I said, new mic, new PS3. We picked up the original Road Rash. And we have a little bit of a project on the go in the Genesis room. So that's it. That's it for this video. I hope the mic sounds a little bit better today. Obviously, I'll throw out that other mic. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. One more thing I wanted to actually show you guys before we end today's video. I didn't really talk a whole lot about the new mic I picked up, but long story short, I went to Staples up here in Canada, which is a kind of like a store you would go for office supplies as an example. And they had the blue mic that everybody's always talking about, the snowball mic. It's like a round ball. To be honest with you, I thought that mic looked pretty cheap. It felt cheap. They had it on display. It was about $50. Relatively inexpensive. I'm not knocking anyone out there that might use it. I'm not making myself out to be like some pro YouTuber by any means. But they had this other blue mic, and it was on sale, the one that you're seeing in today's video here. And it was a regular $179 Canadian, and it was on sale for $129, I believe. So it was on sale. Real nice mic, a real heavy, weighty industrial design to it. And it's really nice. It's got a mute button right on the front. It's got a volume. It's also got, you know, different patterns, I guess you could say. I don't know much about that. I got to play around with it. And it's got the ability to adjust the gain as well. So this is a solid mic. It's not cheap. Again, I did pay about 129, 139 bucks for it. But it's not expensive either. It's not like $1,000 mic by any means. It is top quality. You know, it's got many uses for it. You can use it for live streaming. You can use it for YouTube videos. You can do it for, you know, if you're doing Skype calls, Zoom media calls, whatever be the case. So it's a great mic. Very, like I said, weighty design to it. I don't think it's going to break. So I'm pretty happy with this, and it sounds pretty good as well. So just wanted to show you guys a quick little unboxing video. Anyways, guys, if you have any questions about this mic, you can definitely hit me up and I'll talk a little bit more about it. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.